Hey, Cake family. How's everybody doing on this early Sunday morning? I have Casey James here with me, and she is going to share her experiences with becoming a self-employed bookkeeper and working with the Stay at Home Bookkeeper Academy to learn all the skills necessary to do that. So, Casey, do you want to say hi and tell everybody a little bit about your family and your background and what drew you to this opportunity?
I am a mother of two. I have two small children. One is 6. One actually just turned 1 in May. I don't know if y'all saw Vanessa's yesterday, but our sons were actually born on the same exact day.
Oh, that's
So
cool. I did not know
yeah,
that.
yeah. I have little ones, and I was fortunate enough to be able to stay home with my first daughter for 2 years. I did, like I had my own little small business, but it was just kind of side money. Um, and then unfortunately, I wasn't able in the position when my son was born that I was could do that financially. We had moved, we built a house, and it would have been too tight for us to do that with 2 kids. So I kind of wanted to bring extra money in at first. That was my first goal, just to bring in extra money. And then I saw how profitable it could be. And then I said, oh, well, I want to, go part time. And then I went part time, and then I'm at work now, but I'm real close to leaving. I have more than replaced my income, which was my next goal. And it all just starts coming so fast. Once you get going, it's you just it just is unreal how much profit you can really make quickly.
Yeah, and the time investment is much better than working at a job, right?
Absolutely. I built a business that more than doubled. It's almost to the point of tripling my full-time income in my spare time, pretty much on the weekends, after work. I worked 12-hour shifts, 4 or 5 days a week. So, I mean, you gotta want it.
Wow,
You're gonna be tired, but it's worth it.
that's fantastic. Almost tripling your full-time income and doing it on the side while you're working full-time and you have two kids. So that's amazing.
It's been
That's
a lot.
awesome. Yeah, yep, I imagine. It does take hard work and dedication to doing this, but it does pay off. So once you do feel comfortable, you know, actually leaving and being home, I don't want to talk too loud while you're at work, but
Oh, you're good.
okay. So
I
I
clocked out for anybody who's watching. I'm on lunch, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, but then you're going to have all that extra time available and triple the amount of money that you are making, but so much extra time on your hands. That's
Yep,
awesome.
yep.
So, do you remember exactly when you first enrolled in the academy, and then also from there, when you launched your business?
I bought the course at the end of September, the very end of September, and basically used October to get everything, website, all LLC. It took a couple weeks in Florida to get my LLC back, my EIN, all of those things. And once I got that rolling, I want to say it was the end of October, November ish, that I kind of launched my business, and it's just kind of been go from there. hmm
Awesome. Do you remember when you got your first client?
I don't remember the specific date, but it wasn't a long time. I want to say I joined a BNI pretty quickly. I want to say like a networking group. I joined a networking group within the first month of my launch. And that has really been instrumental. I do suggest that to any kind of networking, even if it's just a social media group or the in-person networking has been big for me. Now I'm starting to get leads off of Facebook that I'm a little more established, and people are word of mouth suggesting me, and I'm more comfortable talking to potential clients and knowing the right words to say. That was a big thing. I probably talked to 25, 30 people before I ever got a yes. But it's just talking to enough people to get the yeses.
Yes, absolutely. And not being afraid to put yourself out there and just, networking, like you said, networking with people. Yep.
Mhm.
It's the best way. So Christy asked, how did you get your first client? So joining that networking group is how you were able to get that first client? Is that where they came from?
Actually, my first client came from the job that I have now. I do lab testing for veterinarians on majority horses. So one of the vets had went out on her own, left her group practice and to go out on her own, and another vet suggested that. So that was my first one. But then the next probably 3 or 4 came from networking, and I continue to get referrals monthly.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. So you are also kind of working on kind of like a specialized area or a niche in like veterinarian, horse veterinarian or
I was at first, and but I just I wanted to kind of take anybody who came, honestly. So I haven't necessarily niched. Now that I have a good base, I do want to try to stick with the trades. I just know that industry very well. I love those guys, girls. They mostly just want to, go out and do what they do best. And I want to try to stick with the trades, or veterinarian is kind of a service trade, really. But
yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So can you tell everyone a little bit about what your previous educational background has been and your work experience?
okay, so I was introduced to QuickBooks several years ago. Um, I don't have any formal accounting education. I did some on the job training where I had worked for a corporation, like counting out tills or balancing a safe, but it wasn't detailed ledgers. It wasn't anything like I'm doing now. And then I've just always kind of got stuck in an administrative role, and I always kind of fought it. I always just didn't want to do it. It was so typical for a woman to be an admin, and I was I was fighting it so hard. But then I come to realize if I'm just good at it and I just keep doing, I keep getting put in that position every place that I got, then I might as well just make a business out of it, and I might as well do what I'm good at. I'm good with software. I'm good with people. I'm good with numbers. So yeah, no formal education, just a lot of administrative and clerical.
Perfect. Yeah, those kind of things are really what it takes to be a good bookkeeper, just having attention to detail and liking administrative type stuff. You can learn all the other skills as you go. So that's
Hmm.
awesome. Perfect. And so currently you've been doing lab technician work, correct? Is
Hmm.
that what you call it? Yeah.
Yep.
So, okay, so that kind of lets people know that, it's possible to do this without having an accounting degree, without having been trained as a bookkeeper before. So you just have to
Literally
have,
nobody, maybe one person has asked me if I have an accounting degree, or if I have a CPA license, or if I'm certified in any way. They just want results. They just want their books done. And a lot of times people are DIYing it themselves, so they know what it takes, and they know you don't necessarily, I'm not saying having an accounting degree is a bad thing. You should totally, if you want to get educated, do it. Go ahead, absolutely. But you don't let that hang you up. By the time you get your accounting degree in 3, 4 years, 2 years even, you could be, have a very successful business in that time.
mhm. Yep, absolutely. So about how long do you think it took you to reach the income level where you were just replacing your full-time income? I know you've tripled it, but what
Yeah,
about just replacing it?
it was not long. It was, I started in October, November, and my goal, my birthday's in March, was to replace my income by March, and I think I did it by April. So
Okay.
six
Awesome.
months, 8 months. I didn't do the math, but
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Let's see. So Tanya says she got her first two clients from just visiting BNI. And Christy says she does admin work too. She loves your story. And there's another women's networking group that she's thinking of joining. So you
do
should
it.
definitely, yeah, definitely check it out, Christy. They're fun too. You know, it's something
Yeah.
fun to do also. So, what are your plans for the future, for your family, for your business, that kind of stuff?
So we have some financial goals. We want to pay some things off. My car um, basically took a dump. It was an old car. It was bad. So I ended up buying it was bad. And we ended up buying a car before I had started this business pretty reasonably, but I want to pay that off first. And then our next goal is we're just gonna gung ho on the house. I want to get my house paid off in 5 years, which is pretty doable. I think it's totally doable. Honestly, I think we could, at the rate that I'm growing, we could probably pay it off in 3. And
Awesome.
I want to get that paid off and then just start building wealth and, maybe investing in some things. And there's no limit, really. I mean,
Hmm.
it's really exciting, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably my favorite thing about this journey is sometimes it can be a little stressful and hard work to have a business, but the fact that you literally have no limit to where you can take your life is just so amazing. You
Yeah.
can hire contractors and grow and grow and grow, and even doing that with working even less and having people help you, it's awesome.
It's very empowering. And I just hired my first part-time employee just to help with basic reconciliations because I'm at the point now I have 14 14 regular clients. Now, some of them are smaller that from the
Mhm.
beginning, which is a tip I would give to people just starting out in this is just know your value right off the bat. Don't, because the little ones are going to take just as much time as the big ones, just like Tiffany
Absolutely.
says. And at first you're kind of desperate just to get a client and you want to give everybody a deal because you just want to like get a client, which is okay maybe for your first client to get your feet wet. But after that, just know your value, know your value, and stick to it. Because sometimes even I would ask people, what's your budget for a bookkeeper? And they would tell me $500 a month. I was about to quote them 249. I was cutting myself in half.
Hmm.
Um, so
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that question. What a great idea to ask them up front, what are their expectations? What are
mhm.
they hoping to get for the price? So that's a great idea. Yep, yeah. I see a lot of people wanting to say, well, I'll just do this for free because you're my first client, or I'll give you a discount because you're my first client. Well, you don't need to do that. And it ends up hurting you in the long run because even if you do feel like you need to give them a discount, you're going to be spending, like you said, the same amount of time on them, which takes you away from being able to find another client or maybe somebody that might be willing to pay you 2 or 3 times more than that. So, yep,
Absolutely.
definitely don't lower your price just for the first client for sure.
Mhm.
So, what about your husband? Is he planning on joining the business at some point, or have you guys talked about that?
So lately, he's actually been traveling for work lately, which is new and I hate it. So I am like, you don't need to do that. You don't need to work 70-hour weeks, but no, he does. I don't think he's the worker. He's not a stay-at-home type.
Yeah.
But he does eventually want to own his own business. So it at we would be able to cash flow his startup. We would be able
That's
to
awesome.
we have options. We have
Mm-hmm.
money, you have options,
Exactly.
and it opens up opportunities for you that you might not have if because honestly, and like you've said before, we lived paycheck to paycheck. Even though we made pretty good money, we
Mm-hmm.
just, where does it go? Where does
Mm-hmm.
it go? And even though we lived on a pretty good budget, we did budget.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, now
Yeah.
you don't have to do that so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've lived at pretty much every income level so far. 30,000 a year with a family of four, that's no fun.
No.
Even when you have two incomes and you've got like a family of five and you're making, around 100,000 a year between the two, that's still hard. You still have to watch what you spend. You have to budget. You have to be careful. And if you buy a house that's a little too big for you, then you're house poor and you can't go anywhere or do anything. We've been in all those situations.
Yep.
But I'll tell you, once you hit like 200 a year, I mean, it's completely life changing. The jump from
Mhm.
100 to 200 just gives you so much more opportunity in what
Mhm.
you can do with your life. With
Yeah, and the best thing is you can even if you're making nothing now, it's free to post on Facebook. It's free. You don't have to pay for anything on, as far as advertising. And I'm now starting to get leads off of Facebook because on every town, city has their word of mouth pages or
Mhm.
their, what's happening pages. And 4 or 5 people will comment my name when somebody's looking for an accountant or a bookkeeper, and I'll explain I'm a bookkeeper, but I work with CPAs, and we can come up with a plan for you. And
Fantastic.
mhm,
Yep. Yep, absolutely. Most of the ways that we talk about also in the course and in the support group are free ways to market yourself. There's more expensive ways. B&I, I feel like is really fairly cheap for what you can get out of it.
oh yeah.
There's usually anywhere from like a $400 to $600 annual fee for that. And you
Mhm,
can find, BNI is an international group, so they're usually a little bit more expensive. And sometimes you can find cheaper referral groups to join. But I know I was in a referral group very similar to that for about 2 years, and I made over $65,000 just in that group. So it was a huge return on investment. So,
yeah.
mhm.
Yep, for sure. And a lot of times people who are joining BNIs are newer businesses, which is who you're looking for. We just
Mhm.
had 3 people join our BNI, and all 3 of them first one-to-one. They wanted to talk to me. How do I set this up? How do I do that? Like, and I signed 2 of them.
That's
Um,
fantastic.
yeah,
Yeah.
so, you know, but I just want to say also that like the support group is amazing. Everybody is rooting for each other. Nobody has there's never been a catty or spiteful um comment as far as like anything. I mean, it's strictly bookkeeping, but everybody is just rooting for each other. Tiffany has been so supportive in this. Like I really and with everything going on, I really feel like I'm so blessed that I came upon this and just dove in head first because we decided it's best for our daughter to stay home from school this year with everything going on. She's just little. I don't want to participate
Mhm.
crazy in the world. I just don't.
Yeah.
So I so I'm able to homeschool her this year and not just homeschool her, but I'm actually able, we can go wherever we want to go. We can go to the Everglades for a week and learn about the Everglades if we want to because I can work
Mhm.
remotely. Like it's just amazing. It's just awesome.
Yeah, yeah, that is going to be fun. I think that'll be something that everybody is going to really enjoy this coming year because I think a lot of parents have been kind of pushed into homeschooling, whether they had thought about it before or not. And will it be easy to juggle a business and kids and homeschooling? Not every day.
Hmm.
Some days are going to be a challenge. Working from home isn't always like, roses, but
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
it's definitely worth it. I get stressed sometimes. My kids come up and interrupt me a bunch, but I can't imagine if I had to leave them, 40, 50 hours a week and not get to be here to see them, or if they fall down and get hurt, just stop what I'm doing and go help them or whatever. So
Exactly.
it's,
Exactly.
yeah.
I close the
So,
laptop and walk to the living room where the kids are hanging out with dad, or I hired a nanny who has 2 kids that actually I went to high school with, and she comes 2 days a week so I can have office hours. But they're literally on the other side of the wall. I can hear them.
mhm.
I can see them in the house. Like we come out, we have lunch together. I still rock the baby to sleep for lunch. It's just it's really been
Yeah,
amazing,
that's
empowering even. Yeah, it's just awesome.
yeah, that's so fantastic. I used to have one of those gray, I think it was called my breast friend pillow,
Yes,
and I had
yes,
both of my twins sitting on that nursing while I was typing when I had
you're a
my
rock
business.
star.
So anything can be done. You can do it
Yeah.
anyway.
Mhm.
So yeah, and the great thing now about what's going on in the world right now is a lot of the BNI meetings have all gone virtual. So you can even do this. You can even join networking meetings from home. That wasn't even an option when I started. I did have to leave the house to go network, but now you don't even have to do that.
Yeah,
So
that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. We are doing all of our meetings online, so it's super convenient.
yeah, that's awesome. Oh, I had one other question I was going to ask you, and it has slipped my mind. But is there anything else that you think somebody that's new to the group or new to even considering being a bookkeeping business owner, any kind of tips or advice that you would give them about jumping into this?
Yeah, I would say don't get hung up on the details, like your website and your logo. And like I just changed my logo a year in because I just did some one on Canva, and that was free and just to get going. And I would say don't. I spent so much time on my website, and looking back, like my website is like a virtual business card. It really doesn't even like I don't see a lot of business come from the website. So I spent weeks on it. I could have been getting my first client. So don't get hung up on doing things like that. Really just throw yourself out there, really lean into the education. I mean, my family is so sick of watching bookkeeping stuff. Like,
I imagine.
yeah, I'm always pulling up like educational videos. Was little and I couldn't actually be on my computer, I would pull it up on the TV on YouTube and learn, just, make it your hobby to learn and you will be fine. You'll be just fine.
Yep, I love that. That's great advice because you really can do this without a website. You can do it without being a QuickBooks Pro advisor. I mean, you really can. All you have to do is be confident in yourself, not in the fact that you know everything right now, but that you can help your potential clients find the answers that they need and you can figure out how to do the job that's going to be the best for them. So be
Yeah, and
confident in
just
the
be
fact that you can
honest.
learn.
You
Yeah.
can be honest. If somebody asks you, hey, I have this problem with QuickBooks, you can say, honestly, I don't know, but I'll find out for you. And that's good. That's
Mhm.
great for a lot of people. They're happy just to not have to do it.
Yep, absolutely. And they can put the time in to find out the answer themselves as well, but that's not their primary job. That's why they hire people to do it. So some people think like, well, why would they pay somebody with no experience to do it? Because they don't want to figure it out either. So, but you can figure it out. And then once you figure it out once or twice, then you'll know that. And then the next issue that comes along, you figure that out. And then now you know that. But before you know it, you really are going to be an expert and you're going to feel like an expert because this is not that hard and it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't take a whole lot to learn it. So,
One of my clients is a web designer, and I was scared, because I'm thinking, oh, she's going to know all these things about QuickBooks, but just because she knows how to make a WordPress site doesn't mean she knows how to run QuickBooks. And
mhm.
we teach each other stuff all the time. She calls me all the time, like, she had no idea. Her husband has a hosting business as well. Super cool people. they were sending automatic invoices. I said, you can just collect that with a reoccurring sales receipt and just, you don't have to worry about matching invoices. So it also brought my workload down, but then she learned a cool new trick, and now she doesn't have to worry about collecting checks, and it took more off of her. And that makes me feel good, because as a mom and an entrepreneur, we do have to wear so many hats. And I like taking a little bit. You don't have to do that. You can have more of a work-life balance. And I strive to do that for my clients and help them set up ways of doing things that are, a little more ergonomic, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, and that's awesome. And as you learn things like that, new tips and tricks, you can share that with your clients, and it is valuable information for them that, helping them get paid faster. That's something huge, and one little thing that they didn't even know to even look into. So,
Exactly.
yep.
Yep.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I won't keep you any longer, but I really appreciate you hopping on, especially on your lunch break, to chat with us. So if anybody else has any more questions, make sure you comment and we'll definitely answer
Yeah.
them. And
Yeah, I'll follow up. Yep, for sure.
okay. All right, great. Thank you so much, Casey. It was so great catching up.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Bye,
All
Cake
right.
Family.
Bye.